Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rising Star. My name is Ruth. Today we are talking about the lovers. Now, as much as I would love to show you the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith version of the lovers, it does have nudity, and I'm not allowed to share that kind of art with you here. So, if you would like to get a better idea of the imagery we'll be talking about, you might want to go ahead and Google a picture of the lovers so that you can look at it while I speak about it. All right, so the lovers is number 6 in the major arcana. It's represented by the zodiac sign Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is information. It's a very swift moving planet. It can also be a little tricky. And Mercury is known as the trickster, as we get that vibe during Mercury retrograde. All right, so like I talked about last week, there's a lot of Christian symbolism in the tarot, and even if you don't believe in Christianity, it's good to have a basic knowledge so that you can further understand the spiritual wisdom that comes with the tarot. So in the lovers, we have a representation of the story of Adam and Eve. We have a man and a woman here, masculine and a feminine, also known as Adam and Eve. They are nude. Before, in the story of Adam and Eve, they were nude before they ate from the tree. What was it? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It was the forbidden fruit that they weren't supposed to eat. When after they ate from it, they became they realized that they were nude. Before, it didn't bother them that they were nude. Afterwards, they realized that they were nude, and they covered themselves with fig leaves or something like that. I can't remember. Palm leaves. So, sorry. My apologies. I hope that didn't get into the microphone too much. So, before eating of the fruit, they were pure, they were without sin. It was the sin of eating the fruit that made them knowing of their nudity and seeing themselves in a different way. Nudity is very pure. It's a very vulnerable state. This card represents a divine union here, and there is a vulnerability that comes when entering into any sort of a union with another person, especially of a romantic nature. You have to be trusting and open for a relationship to work. You have to be vulnerable. All right, so we have 2 trees on this card. The tree behind Eve is an apple tree. There are 4 apples in the tree, and there is a snake or a serpent wrapped around the tree. So in the story of Adam and Eve, it was the snake who came to Eve and tempted her into eating the apple. Some say it's a pomegranate. Some say it's an unknown fruit that we don't have access to. That makes more sense to me personally. But here it's an apple tree. So, and then behind Adam, we have the tree of flames. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to describe this as best I can. Behind Adam, we have the tree of flames. The flames represent passion, so there's temptation and passion represented here. There are 12 flames on the tree of flames that represent the 12 zodiac signs. So the tree that Eve stands in front of is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree that Adam stands in front of is the tree of life. So life, vitality, passion, fire, all kind of goes together. All right, so there are 4 apples and 12 flames. 4 plus 12 equals 16. So with the 4 apples, the 4s represent stability, groundedness, building foundations, which is something that we need to do when we come into union romantically with another person. A foundation is built, hopefully a strong one. And then, so 4 plus 12 makes 16. Also, 4 times 4 makes 16. 16 is the tower. The tower is an example of a foundation that was not properly built, and now it's falling apart in order for something better to be built up in its place. There's a lot of numerology that goes into the lovers. So I'm trying to deliver it to you as well as possible. Also, with trees, trees are fruit bearing or seed bearing. Eve stands in front of a fruit bearing tree. We can say that Adam's tree is seed bearing because the woman or the feminine has the fruit, the man or the masculine has the seed. Um, when life creation happens between a man and a woman or a masculine and a feminine, the masculine plants a seed into the feminine. I hope that makes sense for you guys. But it's a representation of creation is what we're getting at here. All right. All right, so in the background between Adam and Eve, we have a volcano here. The volcano represents the eruption of passion that happens between two people when they come together and into a romantic union like this. There is a lot of passion and eventually eruption, which creates life. Behind them, we have the Archangel Raphael. We will see 4 different archangels throughout the tarot. Unfortunately, I feel like we should have more of them, but we only have 4. So Raphael is the archangel of healing. He heals mind, body, and spirit. So he brings these two together. These two opposites are brought together in order to learn from each other. Masculine and feminine are 2 very different energies, but both have something to teach each other and to help each other heal mind, body, and spirit. So Archangel Raphael is a representation of the divine blessing a spiritual union like this, the divine bringing 2 divine counterparts together, blessing their union. This is a holy union that we're looking at here. All of the major arcana cards are very spiritual. We have a sun behind Archangel Raphael, which is illuminating the path. So originally, the Lover's card was called the choice. We have a lot of choices in life to make. Eve had a choice to eat the apple or not eat the apple. Adam also had the choice. They both made the wrong choice according to the Bible. But the sun is illuminating the path here. There's a bit of an awakening here that happens when you come across your divine counterpart. You're awakened to the fact that you are not just one individual, but now you have to integrate another individual if you choose to do so. So there's a choice of a path here. A lot of times when the lovers come up, it can be about choosing a path, especially if it's with other cards related to a path, like the Chariot or the Star, even the Hermit. Also, when we come into union with someone or anyone, we have a choice in every relationship on how we connect with others, how we react to others, how we nurture others or accept others, anything along those lines. Like, we always have choices in our relationships, and the choices that we make will determine whether or not that relationship is built on a solid foundation, whether or not that relationship will be a lasting relationship. So in the major arcana, we start off with the Fool, and until the Lovers, we have the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, and the Hierophant. So the Fool goes through a series of individual spiritual lessons before he comes into union with his divine counterpart. It's important to have a basis of knowledge, before coming into a divine union like this. Through life, we're gonna come across a lot of karmic soulmates that teach us a lot of lessons before we get to the right person. Not always. Some souls are more developed. Some souls find their divine counterpart in childhood. But traditionally, there's a lot of lessons that we will go through and a lot of knowledge that needs to be acquired before we can build a solid, lasting foundation and a solid, lasting relationship with someone else. Also, in astrology, the first 6 houses are more focused on the individual and the shaping of the individual, the persona, the self, childhood, roots, all of that stuff, daily routine, expression, the way we express ourselves. We see all of that in the first 6 houses. And then when we get to the 7th house, which the Lovers is actually the 7th card in the Major Arcana, even though it's number 6. When we get to the 7th house, that is the house of relationships. And then 7 through 12 are more how we show up in the world, how we deal with others in the world, how we form relationships, what our place in the world is. It's not as individual. We are individuals, but we are also social individuals who form relationships throughout our life. So I hope that gives you a better idea of the progress that we've made to get to the Lovers. All right. Now, in the Lovers, we have a lot of green and red here. So Eve's tree is green mostly. She does have red apples on it. Adam's tree is red. We have a red volcano. We have green grass here. Archangel Raphael's wings are red. So green represents fertility. Red represents passion. This green grass is representing the fertility, where the red volcano is representing passion. It's passion and fertility that come together to create more life, right? So also Raphael's hair, he has flames in his hair. There are green and red flames. It's the bringing of fertility and passion together, and they kind of are necessary for each other. If we're not passionate about something, we're not going to want to birth something. We're not going to seed the fertility, basically. All right. So with the number 6 represents reciprocity, balance, unconditional love, harmony, duality, polarity, the duality and polarity. So feminine and masculine are two completely different energies. My ears starting to ring. When feminine and masculine together, they create something stronger, something better, something whole. And then 3, so 2 is the number for duality. 3 is the number for creation. When we multiply 2 times 3, we get 6. So it's really representing how we can do things by ourselves. We have our own feminine and masculine within us. We can make things happen on our own. But when we come into union with someone with like-minded goals, we can do even more. We can build even greater. Relationships are necessary. We are social beings. So the devil in tarot is the number 15. 1 plus 5 makes 6. And if you look at the devil card, you will see the Lovers there again. They don't have as much of a choice on the devil card. They're tied down. They've given in to temptation at this point, and the temptation given into has tied them down. We'll talk about that more when we get to the devil, but you can learn more about each the devil and the Lovers by looking at them side by side, so that might be helpful to you. All right. So let's look at these other Lovers cards. We can actually look at these. This is from the Light Seers Tarot. This is probably my number 1 favorite Lovers card. If you look on her arm, if you look on her back, actually, you see, I believe that symbol's called the Triskelion. It's the symbol of a trinity. And then on her arm, she has a tattoo of an arrow. So that arrow can represent Cupid's arrow. It can also represent the arrow of the Centaur or Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the opposite sign of the Lovers. And Sagittarius is like divine knowledge, which we're getting this divine knowledge coming down from Archangel Raphael here. But the 9th house, Sagittarius, can represent higher knowledge, philosophy, all that good stuff. All right, well, we're going to do that one last, actually. So this is the Lovers from the Ostara Tarot. And as you can see, they're both wearing a mask. That's a good symbolism for the Lovers, I think. It's important to not wear a mask when we come into union with someone else, because the more we hide, the weaker the foundation we are building is, And then later on down the road, when the mask finally falls off and something is revealed that wasn't revealed in the beginning, that can make a relationship fall apart. Alright. This is a very sweet version of the Lovers from the Gregory Scott Tarot. If you can see on the side there, they are walking near a cliff. But the angels here who are guiding them, I just realized there's 6 angels, that makes sense. These 6 angels guiding them are preventing them from falling off of this cliff. They are being guided down their divine path. Also, she wears a green dress. Green is the color of the heart chakra. And he's wearing yellow underclothing there, which yellow is the solar plexus chakra. And if you've ever met somebody that you have a soul connection with, you might feel that knowing in your solar plexus. You also might feel it in your third eye, but the solar plexus and the third eye are guiding us always. You know, we're being guided down a path by our intuitive nudges and feelings. All right, so this is the Hermetic Tarot. On this tarot card, maybe you can see the serpent. This one's harder to see because it's black and white. There is a huge serpent that's tempting them there. They're chained down already. They haven't even gotten to the devil yet. Already chained down, trying to cut the shackles, free themselves from something here so that they can move down a path. The Hermetic Tarot is pretty serious. So if you can see where my finger is on that card, let me show you again because I just immediately removed it. Try to get it focused there. All right, so that is the Hebrew letter Zion. And if you know anything about Hebrew, I apologize because I'm probably not pronouncing everything perfectly. All right, so Zion is made of 2 letters, the Yud and the Vav. So Yud is the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which represents woman. And Vav is the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which represents man. So 10 plus 6 makes 16, 6 plus 1 makes 7. 7th letter of the alphabet is created by man and woman. Yud represents a handle, and Vuv, or Vav, I wrote it down phonetically, but I still can't read it. Vav represents blade, so handle and blade make a sword. So Zion can represent a sword or a crown, which is interesting because a sword is information and the crown is how we receive information from the divine. So they are receiving this divine information on which path to take here. Archangel Raphael is delivering this information to them. Zion can also mean to sustain or feed, and we have a lot of representation here of fruits, seeds, fertility, all that good stuff. 7 in the Bible is the day that God was finished creating the world and he decided to take a rest. So some religions follow a Sabbath, 7th day, day of rest. It's the day for God. It's the day to acknowledge God's creation. But biblically, 7 is a number of completion. So I like to think that the Fool has completed the first mini cycle of his big cycle, where he has gone through these individual spiritual lessons, and now he has lessons to learn with another. And if you want to understand better these Hebrew letters, it's very interesting, and I can't give you all the information on it. I'm not an expert. I can just give you basic information. But if you go to chabad.org, it's chabad.org. There's like a vast pool of information on the Hebrew alphabet. There's a lot of numerology that goes into the Hebrew alphabet and symbolism. And even like the way that the letters are written in the Bible, how the columns that they are written in, all that stuff. It's very interesting how deliberately the Hebrew language was formed and how deliberately the Bible was written. It's actually quite interesting. All right, now when the Lovers come up in a reading, can represent Gemini, which also Gemini represents the twins. And the Gemini twins are both polar opposites maybe you've heard people make jokes about how Geminis can't figure out who they are, or there's always like one twin showing or the other twins showing, you know. So the lovers can represent twin flames, especially if they come out with like the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands can represent 1111. Now, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so they are receiving divine information here through their crown, that sword through the crown. They're receiving the divine information. So this could be also related to Mercury, communication, communication with someone you're in a relationship with. And again, it represents a choice or a path. So this can also be a choice between two different lovers. Maybe you're having to decide between two different lovers. The lovers can represent that. But ultimately, it's the choice that they make together in the path that they choose together. Either they're going to go down a path together or they're going to go down separate paths. Obviously, it represents a love relationship, a divine union. It represents the divine feminine and masculine energies coming together. So it can represent the alignment within yourself of divine masculine and feminine energies. And then, of course, there's passion, duality, polarity, and how we are all different, but when we put our heads together, you know, what do they say? Two heads are better than one. We become stronger and better. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you learned something about the lovers. If I didn't mention something, that sounded like did, please share it in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and you guys all have a great day. Thank you.